Hello, welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we're going to be talking about more hurricane topics, more rainfall, more thunderstorms, and still covering my next deep dive and the topic that it is on. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another in-depth weather video. Now let's get into it. Here I am, National Weather Service page. Have a few red flag warnings in Colorado, but mostly we have those excessive heat watches and heat advisories. We also have some air quality alerts as well, and some dense fog advisories in Maine there. Trying to figure out the very slight color difference. We also have some severe thunderstorm watches, severe thunderstorm warnings, and there are no tornado warnings, which is very odd since today was a pretty good day for some severe weather if you're in this part of the country. I think the Storm Prediction Center upgraded all the way to a moderate risk, so that is 4 out of 5 on the scale. That is crazy. But we do have some flash flood warnings, flood watches scattered throughout the map. Now let's move on to the radar. As you can see, there is that main line right there. That second line coming through. So we had the first line. Let's actually move the image. I should actually get the 24-hour. But there was a pretty decent outbreak today. Now let's move on to the National Hurricane Center. Still watching one disturbance in the Atlantic. It's been given a 30% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours. And we're actually going to do all of the 2-day outlooks, then we're going to do the 5-day outlooks. So Eastern Pacific. First one right here, 20% chance. And right here, 40% chance. So that is what's going on in the 2-day outlook. I think the Central Pacific is very quiet. Now let's go to the 5-day. 30% still. That was actually downgraded from earlier. It was 40% earlier. And the East Pacific, we have 50%, 60%, and 50%. So I'm not going to read through them today. That does take a longer amount of time. If you want to read through that, just come to the nhc.noaa.gov and that'll bring you right here, or you can just go to weather.gov and then at the very bottom you can click hurricanes. Now let's move on to the excessive rainfall outlook. Here it is. So slight risk in the Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas area, marginal risk, and everywhere shaded in green. 3 spots here, and those correlate to these numbers. The risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. Now let's move on to thunderstorms. Here's the thunderstorm outlook. We do have a slight risk in cities like Springfield, Little Rock, OKC, Norman, Tulsa, Woodward, Amarillo, Lubbock, Wichita Falls, Fort Sill, and Dallas. We have 2 marginal risks, including Milwaukee, Chicago, Peoria, Hannibal, Kansas City, St. Louis, Evansville. We have Wichita, Liberal, Midland, Abilene, Shreveport, Jackson, Greenville, Memphis, Jackson again, and then we also have Baltimore, Washington, and then I'm going to include Pittsburgh because it's right on the line. Everywhere else in this light green shaded area is general thunderstorm. There's no risk for actual severe storms, but you can get thunderstorms generating in these areas. It is not unlikely, but in the areas of marginal and slight risk, you do have a chance of severe characteristics in those storms, such as tornado, less than 2%, wind is the usually highest risk, 5% in these brown areas, 15% in the yellow areas. That corresponds with our categorical outlook. And hail, same thing, 5% in the brown and 15% in the yellow. So that is the thunderstorm outlook. Now let's move into the NAM 3-kilometer model, where I'm going to go in depth into the thunderstorms. As you can see, just wave upon wave in the central part of the country. I'm thinking that this will be the main storm maker as it moves through, and then just more consistent thunderstorms is going to continue generating in this area. And then we could possibly finally get some thunderstorms in the northeast. It has just been very dry in the west and the northeast. Just very dry. So that is the NAM 3-kilometer model. Now, let's actually stay on the NAM 3-kilometer model for the thermodynamics, temperatures. Okay, so of course you're going to have chills where the thunderstorms are, because you know thunderstorms do evaporate heat, and you know. So I'm just gonna generally say that the southwest is gonna be very, very hot today. Hundreds in all these areas of this like whitish color. So like in the Silicon Valley, into the desert, into southwest Texas. Now in the southeast and just the south in general, you're going to be getting those 80s to 100 plus temperatures. Now in the northeast, you're going to be getting 70s to 90s. In the Great Lakes and the northern plains, you're going to be getting 60s to 90s, and in the northwest, you're going to be getting generally 60s to 80s, but some areas will be cooler based on elevation. The higher you go, the colder it gets. Finally, we can go to the GFS, the American model, and then go to our relative humidity. Throughout the day today, we're still going to be having some humidity in the northeast, as well as everywhere getting those thunderstorms. Everywhere in green here is a higher humidity. Everywhere in brown is drier. So we do have this very large swath associated with this low here that will be producing those thunderstorms. We also have this occurrence right here. These thunderstorms will probably get produced by the dry line. It's basically a area where dry air meets moist air, and you get kind of a cold front like action. Now, finally, deep dive. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, today, this month's topic for deep dive is